Hey friends, today we are busting 6 myths about powder foundation. Let's be real. Powder foundation has a bad rap, and I will raise my hand and be the first to admit that I believed some of these myths. The key, you guys, is finding the right product. So let's go through these myths, let's bust them, and then I'm going to show you my powder foundation routine in the second part of this video, how I achieve full coverage, natural results, and a beautiful flawless finish with powder foundation. I do want to thank Jane Iredale for sponsoring this video because if you've been watching my videos for any length of time, it is no surprise that the powder foundation we will be talking about today is from Jane Iredale. I gave up powder foundation, you guys. I think after the age of 35, 32 maybe, I just gave it up, okay? And I swore it off. And then about 2 years ago, I stumbled into a retail store and I met a Jane Iredale rep and he sold me on this and I applied it for the first time and I was shocked. I was shocked because my skin looked amazing and it looked as good as any liquid or any cream foundation that I use and love, and it was so easy to apply. So let's go ahead and get into the myths and then stick around because again, we're gonna go over the whole routine at the second half of this video. So myth number 1 is that powder is cakey. Now, there is a little ingredient that is gonna come up a lot in all these myths that is the culprit, and that is talc. So the reason talc can make the skin look cakey is because it can create this like gray cast on the skin when it mixes with oils, sebum that you produce throughout the day. So as the day progresses and that ingredient mixes with your natural oils, it can have a very cakey-like, kind of gray-like, mask-like look. Pure pressed base is talc-free and it looks incredibly skin-like. Not too matte, not glowy, not dewy, not dry, not flat. It just looks like skin. So myth number 2, and before I go any further, I do want to say that there's a little bit of truth to this myth, but I'm going to explain why this product does not do this to your skin. So the myth is that powder settles into your fine lines and accentuates texture, wrinkles, and fine lines. And this can be true. I've said this here on my channel. I've always said to powder lightly, that powder can accentuate that, but what it is talc is not reflective. So it can be very matte and it can just accentuate fine lines and textures and it can almost kind of make them look more obvious. I know sometimes when I over powder with a product, I can look in the mirror and feel like I notice texture that I didn't even notice with no makeup on. You know what I mean? It almost just makes me look worse than not having any makeup on. But the beauty in the Jane Iredale Pure Pressed Foundation is it's light reflective. So it actually reflects light, giving a very soft, kind of radiant skin-like finish, which is going to make everything look a little bit softer. It softens texture, it kind of diffuses the light and just gives a very soft, kind of subtle filter-like effect. So this product actually reduces the appearance of texture on the skin. You'll notice the skin looks much more smooth, but very natural. Myth number 3. Powder does not work for dry skin. We know this to be true. If you have very dry skin, you probably avoid powder because many of the powders that you've used makes your skin look drier. It makes it feel drier, and that is a valid and accurate concern. So talc absorbs moisture, and the prolonged use of talc can actually dehydrate your skin over time. So this fact is interesting, and I actually just learned it myself about Pure Pressed Base. It actually helps prevent water loss from the skin. So this is actually going to help your skin stay hydrated. So that's very interesting. And I'm going to teach you some tricks at the second part of this video. We're actually coming up to it pretty quickly. I'm going to show you some products to pair with this to just increase your hydration and increase moisture on your skin and to help this even have a more beautiful natural skin-like finish. So stick around. So myth number 4 is that powder can leave the skin looking dusty or very flat. This kind of pairs with maybe looking dehydrated or accentuating fine lines and texture. Again, talc does not reflect light, so it can leave the skin looking pretty flat and pretty dry, where the Pure Pressed Base has light reflective particles in it, so it actually gives that soft kind of radiant finish to the skin. Again, it's not glowy, it just gives a soft, natural radiance to the skin. Myth 5 is that powders don't work for sensitive skin. Now, this can be true because a lot of traditional powders have binders and fillers that can be very irritating to sensitive skin. Jane Iredale Pure Pressed Base is made with soothing minerals that actually help calm the skin. If you're not familiar with Jane Iredale Jane Iredale is like the original in clean beauty. I don't know if that's actually a fact, but she's been doing clean beauty for over 30 years, you guys. So clean ingredients have been part of Jane Iredale's makeup, makeup, since the beginning, since before it was trending, since before there was a clean at Sephora or a clean department here at this beauty department. She was doing it before it was a thing. So all of the ingredients in the products are actually good for the skin. And the last myth is that you can't get full coverage from powder foundation. And this can be true from some powder foundations because they tend to lean less on pigment and heavier on talc, which just doesn't give you the coverage that you need. But I'm gonna show you in the next portion of this video how you can get sheer natural coverage, medium coverage, or full coverage from the Jane Iredale Pure Pressed base. It's also made primarily with pigment, so you really can achieve a full coverage from this product. They actually say that you can use it for foundation, for like a powder, for even concealer. And I forgot to mention this, but this is probably one of my favorite parts about this. This has an SPF of 20 in it. So if you were anti-powder foundation before this video started, I hope that you're at least open to watching the rest of the video where I'm gonna show you my tips and tricks to get a full coverage, natural looking finish from powder foundation. Let's go. Now I'm going to show you my favorite powder routine for flawless, full coverage, natural looking skin. I obviously have my eye makeup on, but I've removed all of my foundation and my skin is fresh and bare face. So the key with making any foundation look flawless and natural and just looking its best, you want to properly prep the skin. So I'm going to go in first and apply a little bit of moisturizer. Today I'm using the Bliss Drench and Quench Cream to Water Hydrator. So we're going to apply a little bit of this onto the skin and massage it into the skin. Oh, this feels nice. It's very lightweight. It's kind of cooling to the touch. Okay, so I understand the cream to water hydrator. When you start to apply this, it really just turns to a very thin consistency. I'm going to make sure that I really hydrate underneath the eyes. The skin underneath the eyes is the thinnest, so it also can be the driest area on the face, and it is the first place that we start to show signs of aging, fine lines, wrinkles, expression lines. So you really want to make sure that that skin is properly prepped and plumped up for concealer. I'm really just working this in. I applied too much, you guys, so we're just gonna take the time to work it in. So the skin is hydrated and prepped. It is ready to go. Now this is a great time to add your tinted SPF if you use one. You guys know I love the Elastin Hydro Tint Mineral SPF. That is an SPF of 36 and it has a tint to it, so it's gonna even out the skin tone a little bit. It's not gonna give full coverage, but it will give somewhat of an even skin tone to then go in and add more coverage with your powder foundation. I don't have that here today, so I'm actually gonna go in with the next best thing. This is from Jane Iredale, and this is the Hydro Pure Tinted Serum. I love this product, you guys. You've probably heard me rave about this a gazillion times. This is such a beautiful, beautiful tinted serum. It also attracts moisture and hydrates the skin. I'm gonna do about 2 pumps. This is a brand new bottle, so give me a minute to get this out. I'm gonna do about 2 pumps. So this is a product, you've seen these before, and I'm gonna be honest, I've tried other products similar to this and I haven't loved them. So when I first tried this a couple years ago, I was a little skeptical. Or maybe, when did they reformulate this? They reformulated it a year ago or so. I could have my timing off. I tried it kind of a little bit cautiously, and when I first applied this, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this product. It's hydrating, and it also has little pigment beads in it. You want to make sure that you kind of break them up, rub them between your fingers, and then you can just apply this product with your fingers if you want to. I like to apply it with my fingers. You can use a brush too, but the fingers are really nice. This is a very lightweight hydrating serum. As you can see, it has pigment, so it's going to give a little bit of coverage to the skin, just even things out. You're still gonna see your skin and your flaws through it, so it's not a full coverage product, but putting this on first is gonna give you a little bit of coverage so that you can use less of whatever foundation you are using. In this case, we are using the Mineral Pure Pressed Base Foundation from Jane Iredale. Oh, this is such a lovely product. This is also a beautiful product on the days where you don't want to wear foundation, but you want something to kind of even out your skin tone a bit. This is great because it looks very natural, but it also just makes the skin look a little better. You can see this really pretty radiant finish that you get from this product. Really nice. Next, we're gonna go in and apply the foundation. So this is the Jane Iredale Mineral Pure Pressed Base. I'm the shade Golden Glow. When you purchase this online, make sure that you purchase the first time the refillable refill packaging. And then every time after that, you only need to buy the magnetic pan refill that you can buy individually. So make sure you get both of them. Now, think about the coverage that you want to achieve from your foundation. Do you want full coverage? Do you want a good medium coverage? Or do you want something really light and sheer? The beauty about a powder foundation is that you can really customize it depending on the tools that you're using. I have 3 brushes here because I wanted to show you. So if I wanted really light sheer coverage, I would use a brush that's big and fluffy and loose like this. This is the BK Beauty 104. This brush is meant to pick up a little bit of product and apply a little bit of product very softly. So this is great for light sheer coverage. This isn't going to grab a ton of product right off the bat, and it's not going to pack it on either. So this for light sheer coverage. This would also be a great option to use if you are dusting this on top of a foundation. Like let's say you apply a liquid foundation and you just want a little extra coverage. You can use this option here. If you want a good medium coverage, use a brush like this. This is a powder brush. As you can see, it's much smaller than that first brush we used, the 104. It's still got some fluffiness to it though. So it's going to not pack it on for full coverage, but you're going to definitely be able to build and get more coverage than you will from a brush like this. This is the Nikki LaRose BK Beauty N15 powder brush. If you want full coverage, you can either use a sponge or you can use a brush like this. This is the BK Beauty 106. And this brush, as you can see, is definitely more dense than either of the 2 that I've shared, right? It's more of a dense brush. This is actually meant for liquid or cream foundations, but you can use this for powders because it's not too dense. It still has a nice fluffy top here, so it's still gonna buff out and blend out powders and any product really beautifully. You want some density when you're looking for full coverage, but sometimes I see these brushes that are like, there's no give. They're just like a solid, stiff, dense little brick of fibers. And you're gonna pack on product with that, but you're not gonna really be able to blend that out. And this was designed to give you the best of both worlds. Full coverage, but a seamless blend. So light coverage, medium coverage, full coverage. I always like a good medium coverage. So I'm gonna go in with the Nikki LaRose N15 brush. And I'm going to load up the side of this brush with product. So it's pretty packed on, right? Look at that. So that's where the product's applied. This is the clean side. This brush is tinted. There's little like tinted fibers at the tip, so it looks like it has product, but it doesn't. You can actually see more product here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start in the center of the face, and I am going to just press this on, just like I would with the liquid foundation. I'm just gonna press, press, press. Once I've got good coverage, then I'll kind of sweep out the edges. But because my skin is nice and hydrated from those products that I use, the moisturizer and then the tinted serum, applying this while your skin is still plump and hydrated is how you're gonna get the best adhesion to the skin. Is adhesion a word? I think adhesion is a word. If you apply this on dry skin, bone dry skin, it's not going to adhere to the skin. So you really wanna make sure that you have prepped and primed the skin. Now, if you prefer not to use a tinted serum or, SPF, another great product recommendation that pairs so beautifully with this is the Jane Iredale primers. This is the Smooth Affair Brightening Primer. You can apply this, give it like 20 seconds, and then go in and apply this. The key is not allowing it to completely absorb into the skin to where it's bone dry. It needs to be supple, hydrated, plump. Okay, so do you see what I'm doing, you guys? I am literally just bouncing this brush on the skin, and I am getting flawless, beautiful coverage easily. I mean, I'm not even having to really buff or blend or work into the skin. This brush is so nice. I'm just pressing, and then around the jawline, I will sweep just to make sure we have a nice, sheer, even blend. This brush is so good. All of our brushes are good. I'm biased, but I love all of our brushes. Okay, perfect. Lovely. All right, so do you see that? Look at the skin. Look at that. It looks so nice and even. I've got great coverage. I still have a little bit of a radiance here. Do you see that? That's coming through from the Hydro Pure serum. Oh, so nice. Next, I'm gonna go apply a little concealer. I'm gonna use the Skin Color Correcting Stick from Bobbi Brown. This is the shade Peach. And I'm gonna apply just a little bit of that underneath the eye. Again, applying this while that under eye is very hydrated, and then I'm gonna put a little bit coming up here. This is a very light product. I don't even know if I'm gonna pack a concealer on top of this. I might just use this as my corrector and my concealer. And I'm just gonna use my finger to blend this underneath the eye. Ooh, that's perfect, okay. Next what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take that powder and I'm gonna set underneath my eyes with this. Yes, you guys, I'm setting underneath my eyes with powder foundation. Doesn't that sound completely absurd? It's not. This product you can do that with. This doesn't have talc in it, so it's not gonna dry out the under eyes, and it's gonna have a very natural finish. It's basically like a setting powder under the eyes, but with more coverage. So I'm just gonna be kind of light with it. Perfect. Lovely. So good. Oh my gosh, I love this product. This product is just, it's one of my favorites. It is such an easy product to apply, and it looks as good as any of my liquid foundations. I feel like it looks as good as my House Labs, my MAC Studio Fix Fluid, which I love, my Dior Face and Body. I mean, my skin looks so good with this powder foundation on. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bronzer. We're gonna work with a powder bronzer. This is the Jane Iredale powder bronzer, and this is the lightest shade. And I'm gonna use the BK Beauty 104 brush to sweep this onto the skin. I'm gonna keep it pretty soft. Okay, perfect. Another thing that I love about this foundation is that you can pair a cream product on top of it. Yes, you can apply a cream product on top of a powder foundation or on top of this powder foundation. I'm gonna show you how to do so that it doesn't break up or disrupt the makeup that we have underneath it. So I'm gonna use the Jane Iredale blush stick in the shade Balmy, one of my favorites. Now, what you do not wanna do is you do not wanna take this and apply it directly to the skin. Why? Because we have a lot of makeup on the skin right now. We have a lot of powder foundation here, and I don't wanna disrupt it or move it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my brush and I'm gonna go directly to the product and load it up with this blush so it is worked into the fibers here, and we're gonna apply this onto the skin. Now, we're not gonna sweep and pull and drag, we are just gonna press. Okay, we're just gonna press right where we want that product, and it's gonna deposit the color, but it's also gonna blend at the same time. So there's really no need to do this motion or move or disrupt the makeup underneath. It is so nice. Even though this is a cream and this is a powder, the ingredients play really nicely together. This does not have ingredients that are gonna break up that powder underneath. So it is really beautiful, and it's a really nice way to kind of balance out textures and formulas you're using on the skin. So if you're like an oily skin type and you like to use a powder foundation, but you still want a little bit of a glow, you can use a cream blush on top of it. Or if you want a bit more of a glow from more of a kind of natural matte finish, you can use a cream on top of that. It's a really nice way to play and mix with textures. And I really encourage you guys to do that. Play with different textures. Don't use all powder, powder bronzer, powder foundation, powder blush. Mixing with textures is gonna give you that face, the definition, and also that strategic glow, as I like to call it. Getting the glow in all the right areas, but still being able to control shine and control oil in the areas that may get more oily. Oh, this color is so pretty. I don't think you can find a prettier blush. I dare you. I dare you to find a prettier blush than this. This is just what blush dreams are made of. I'm not even kidding. It's just the best. It's so good. Oh, I love it. Okay, we're getting a little too excited there. Let's move on. Okay, so complexion is pretty much done. I can go and touch on my lips, but we'll do that next. The last step that you wanna do to lock everything in, to seal it, and also to give that extra just insurance that you're gonna have very natural looking skin is to set it. And I love the Palm Mist Hydration Spray from Jane Iredale. They have these in a few different formulas. I love this one because it focuses on hydration. So I like to do a couple of sprays of this after I have all my foundation, my blush, my bronzer, everything on. It smells amazing, by the way. I love it. Oh, it feels so good too. So use this to lock and seal in the makeup. Do you know how if you apply a powder, regardless of what powder it is, how your skin looks the best like after 20 minutes or within the first hour? Once your skin starts to produce those natural oils, that's the effect that this gives you. It gives you that like 45 minutes into your makeup look. Like you've just broken in your makeup, your skin is starting to glow and look natural, and it does it instantly. So if you're gonna purchase the Pure Pressed Mineral Based Foundation, you definitely wanna grab this. I promise you guys. And this is not like any other setting spray. It's really meant and paired well with this particular product. So that's the last step. Now let's just kind of let this dry. Oh, I kind of want to do it one more time because it's just so nice, I know. It's so nice and it smells divine. We're almost done. I'm just gonna add a little lip color to finish off this look. This is the Jane Iredale lipstick in the shade Rosebud. And I had a little bit of a gloss on earlier. I had on the Maybelline Lifter Plumps. These are really nice. So I'm saying that because there's something on my lips already. These are nice lipsticks. They're very pigmented, very rich. They're hydrating. They're not too shiny, but they have a little bit of a shine to them, but they're not like a glossy lipstick. Just kind of press that in. That's a pretty color. I like that. And this is it. Let's zoom in a little closer. Let's inspect the skin. How do things look? Okay, this to me, you guys, looks like any beautiful liquid foundation, any beautiful cream foundation that you would apply. This looks stunning. The skin looks natural. I've got the perfect amount of coverage. It's not super matte, it's not super glowy, it just has a natural bit of a sheen and glow to the skin, and it looks beautiful, and it's gonna look like this all day long, you guys. So I encourage you to try powder foundation if you haven't already tried it, but don't just try any powder foundation. There is a reason that there are all those myths about powder foundation, because many of them are going to give you those results, but this one is not. And the proof is in the pudding, you guys. I've been talking about this product for a couple of years. I cannot tell you how many comments and how many emails I've gotten from you guys telling me, you know, I'm in my 70s and I love this product, or I've been wearing this product for years and it's the only powder foundation I can wear, or this is the only powder foundation that doesn't make my skin look matte or, you know, dry. This is a miracle product and I absolutely love it. So give it a try. If you do, come back and tell me what you think. So that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. If you did, drop a comment down below. And again, I'll have all the products listed and linked in the description box below for you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.